Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Nvidia daily update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Nvidia stock. Let's go over what is happening to the stock, what we can expect moving forward, and all of that good stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my videos, analysis, etc., I do have a membership section on YouTube. That link is down below in the description of the video. For just $3 a month, you can access to all my intraday thoughts, post updates on mainly Tesla, sometimes other stocks as well, or for $5 a month you get access to all of that, and you get access to Nvidia daily updates as well. But let's just jump into it. Nvidia closing the day down almost 1%, we'll say, closing at, we'll say, about $147.50 per share, which compared to the market is going to be a little bit of an underperformance, with pretty much most of the Max 7 being red, not severely red, but red nonetheless, while Tesla is of course doing its short squeeze movements up 8%, which is unbelievable. But let's talk about Nvidia. Let's figure out, okay, well, what happens next here, right? What happens next? So yesterday I mentioned how, we are potentially at the top of this rising channel, wedge, whatever you want to call it. And, I do see some issues here. I do see some bearish divergences here. And unfortunately, the bearish divergences are still here because we have yet to make a higher high above this, right? We want to make a higher high essentially above, what the hell did I just drop? We want to make a higher high. My goodness, let's try this again. Ladies and gentlemen, technical difficulties. Let's go ahead and try this one more time. There we go. You want to make a higher high above this, right? You want to do that. You want the stock to make a higher high, or the RSI to make a higher high above this, as the stock, of course, is moving up, because that's, well, bullish, right? That'll be bullish. That would essentially negate this bearish divergence, which you can see as we've been moving up with the stock price. All of these have been slowly making lower highs. That is, of course, a bearish divergence. So that is a little bit concerning, right? I'm not gonna lie, that is a bit of concerning. Now, it is a slow and essentially a lagging indicator. Keep that in mind. These divergences don't play out right away, especially on the daily and especially like on a weekly. They take time. They absolutely take time. But that's just something to think about, I guess, to say the least. Now, of course, if you make that fresh high on the RSI, and break that previous high I just showed, phenomenal. Completely eliminates this pattern. Forget I even said it. But as of right now, it's still there and it still technically exists. So watch for that. Now, Nvidia, it is of course down a little bit, right? Down almost at 1%, which isn't of course anything to be scared about. But, again, it is finding a little bit of issues over here. If I bring out the bands, it is of course in overbought territories, which again, people always confuse overbought meaning that it has to go down. It does not have to go down. Overbought does not mean, guys, it's going down tomorrow, get ready. No, of course not, right? It can stay overbought or oversold for several days in a row, sometimes even weeks. Absolutely. It's all about risk versus reward. And up here right now at the stage, it's not the best risk versus reward for me, especially when you consider this channel as well, right? You have the RSI overbought, you have the stochastic now entering overbought territories, you have the market getting close to topping. If not, maybe I think best case scenario, the market has a little bit more room to the upside, but I can't imagine too much more, maybe like about 1% more, honestly, for the market, right? At least for SPY. And the thing with Nvidia is if we take the same thing, right? If we take that, what's it called? The Fibonacci extension, where you go from here to here to here. Again, this is not drawn to perfection. This is just to give you a rough depiction. You can see Nvidia is struggling around that one, essentially the 1.0 level, right? Which is like essentially a full extension level, right? Because again, the way this works is essentially Fibonacci retracement. We drew it from this level down here. This was the pivot point, right? This was the swing high here. We had that swing low on that retracement, which was actually almost a perfect, I think it was a 0.786 retracement. And then what do? We ended up rocketing past that. And this is where you draw the extensions to kind of give you an idea as to, okay, well, where do we go, right? Like how far can we actually go? The first major level that actually sometimes can be all shoe road is this one level right here. You can see at 148. And that's roughly where we're finding issues, or at least starting to. So watch for this level. This is a really important level. Now, if there's still strength and Nvidia still moves higher and it starts closing higher above essentially today's high, then I would say the next level will be 152.4 followed by 154.68. Ignore the decimals. About 155. Again, mine's not drawn to perfection, so ignore the decimals. Around 152, around 155. And in my opinion, the ultra bull case scenario, the scenario that, it is a possibility, but I don't think we'll go there, is closer to the 160s, which is at 1.618 Fibonacci extension level. I don't think we'll get there, I'll be honest. But if the stock were to just continue with some bullish momentum, if it were to find more momentum, maybe as it heads into earnings potentially, not impossible, I think about close to 160 is the best that you'll get before probably a much more, I don't want to use the word severe, but definitely a bigger correction or a bigger move to the downside, right? So watch for those levels on the extension moving forward. But again, just strictly off of the way the chart looks right now, with this channel resistance right here, And of course, we're still having these divergences on both the RSI and the stochastic. You know, it wouldn't be too surprising to me if this is kind of roughly all she wrote, and to be completely honest with you. So watch for that, right? I also am testing out this new indicator. I'm bringing it up here for the first time. Again, I don't know how good or bad this indicator is. I'm playing around with it for now. But this indicator essentially shows divergences as well, right? And what it does is it shows its divergences automatically for you, so you don't have to like really spot them yourself. And again, divergences, whether it's a bullish, bearish divergence or a hidden divergence, it kind of just automatically detects it for you. And in this case, you can see it detected a divergence back here. And what do? We move to the downside. Detected one down here, we went sideways, and then we moved to the downside. Detected one over here, and we moved to the downside. Currently, it is detecting a divergence setting up pretty much right where we are right now. Now, of course, nothing is perfect. It doesn't mean we have to move to the downside, but just keep in mind that, you know, if there is a place to finally make a move to the downside, at the very least, in my opinion, to 144/5, it's pretty much right here from all those things I just mentioned in the last like 4 minutes of the video or so. So watch for those things, especially considering we are obviously extremely overbought. Now, bring the super trend back here. But again, if we do move our way to the downside, you know, you can also argue the fact that, okay, well, let's say this is a swing top, and let's say we go from here, and this becomes a new swing low, and this becomes a new swing top. Again, my main levels I'll be looking for a beautiful, beautiful opportunity to potentially buy the dip. Honestly, the main first one I'll be looking at is going to be around 140. That probably will be the closer one I'll be looking for, which is roughly where that 618 Fibonacci retracement is. But the juiciest one, the super juicy entry, in my opinion, with, of course, stop losses below, right? You never know, of course, nothing is perfect, is going to be all the way down somewhere around 135. That, to me, will be like the ultimate sweet spot. If it can come down there and you can snipe that, that should be probably a very, very damn good and very sexy entry, because not only will that be the sweet spot down here with the 786 and the 82, the hell is that, 826 Fibonacci retracement, but you'll also be buying right at the market buys and the super trend, which I use super trend and market buys together because sometimes one of them will give a false signal. So usually when they're both red or when they're both green, that's extra bullish in my opinion. In this case, obviously they're both green, but to me, the ultra sweet spot, if it's Nvidia, will make its way pretty much to about 135. Now, again, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Who knows? But trading is all about entering at what you believe to be the ideal entry spot. Sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't, and that's perfectly fine. But again, just from my perspective, to get a really damn good entry in Nvidia, it would be somewhere around 135. That will be like the ultimate entry with, of course, stop losses. It doesn't mean it will be the best entry and we move up from there, because, you know, ultimately what we can do is we can make a move back down here, make our way back up, and then ultimately maybe something with earnings happens, or it's a sell the news event or whatever, and then you go below the band, you go below the super trend, and they both turn red, and we're probably going to be starting a downtrend instead. But as it stands right now, as it looks, while both of these indicators right here, the bands, essentially, they're pretty much trend indicators. While they're both green, again, I see no reason to overall be short-term or overall bearish on Nvidia. Absolutely no reason to see that whatsoever. The only time I would ever even remotely consider being like actually bearish on the stock is if I see both of them start turning to the red. If that happens, that's bearish. But it's not there just yet. And obviously, you know, we'll take it day by day, level by level, candle by candle. So anyway, that's kind of the main thing I'm looking at. That's kind of the main perspective I have on Nvidia. In terms of options flow, let's take a quick look to see how options flow went on Nvidia today. Obviously the bulls, as usual, overwhelming and dominating the bears, but as I scroll down over here, obviously we have still these extremely unhinged bulls coming in with 17 million calls, 11 million, 6.5 million for January 17th, 2025. So yeah, the bulls are pretty relentless on this. They're extremely unhinged when it comes to this stock. This feels like it's just a daily thing. I don't know where all this money is coming from, but it's coming from somewhere. But the bulls were definitely very bullish throughout the day. Obviously, towards the end of the day, you can see, you know, a little bit more red coming in throughout the day. So it's obviously not all bullish towards, you know, the close, but the bulls clearly seem very bullish moving into January of next year. So we'll see how that plays out. In terms of confirmed options flow on Nvidia, in terms of bearish or bullish flow, I'm trying to find where Nvidia even is. I see AMD down here for 4 million. Is Nvidia like somehow not even on this list? Surely it's on this list somewhere. Maybe I'm blind, but I honestly can't even find Nvidia. This is a pretty rare occurrence when it comes to confirmed options flow. Let me just check this one more time. Surely it's somewhere here. Surely I'm not blind. Yeah, I think it's literally nowhere to be found. That's a pretty rare occurrence. That's very interesting. That to me tells me that a lot of options were probably closed. But yeah, I mean, take that as you will. I'm not really sure what to even make of that. I don't think I've ever seen Nvidia not be somewhere on the list, I'll be honest. So we'll see. But again, not even including options flow, looking just strictly at the chart. To me, the ideal level is right back to the band. Maybe we'll get there in a week or two. Maybe we won't. I don't know. But that to me is where the best entry is. And right now, you know, again, we are a little bit overheated. But watch for those retracement levels I mentioned on the Fibonacci earlier if we have potentially more room to the upside. But don't be surprised if this is roughly all shoe roads, right? Because again, I don't know if I mentioned this in this video, but in the Tesla video I did, the market doesn't have too much more upside left because SPY, for instance, is literally 0.5% away from the 618 Fibonacci retracement. And this is one that I would be very surprised if we go past. Like that would genuinely surprise me if we move past that. We'll see. But yeah, that's kind of all I have right now. Let's see how next week plays out. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Peace.